Right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, it's flat out impossible, all right, to not recognize the domination of Alex Palou and the number 10 DHL Honda this season, as Palou has won seven of the 13 IndyCar races so far this season. But over the last 2 weeks, okay, we've seen Pato O'Ward be locked in as he's doing all that he can to somewhat make Palou sweat. Now, O'Ward won one of the two races last weekend in Iowa, while the other was, of course, won by Alex Palou. An award just came back this past Sunday in Toronto on the streets there to take home the checkered flag. This race came down to a strategy gamble by Alex Palou and one of his Chip Ganassi teammates and Scott Dixon. Of course, Palou began this race second. He led the most laps and he was cruising. Okay, but of course, we know that at some point, all of the drivers were going to either have to switch to the soft tires if they didn't start on the softs. Palou knew he was going to have to switch. He delayed multiple times coming into the pits for that switch, while O'Ward, who started on the softs, switched as soon as he could. And of course, from there, Pato was off to the races. But if you're Palou, okay, and you have the lead that you currently have in the championship chase, you can honestly afford to take a gamble like he did this past Sunday in Toronto, because even with the win by Pato O'Ward, okay, and Alex Palou's 12th place finish, he still has himself a 99-point lead over the second place Pato O'Ward in the championship standings. Granted that Pato O'Ward was able to shave 30 points off of Alex Palou's lead this past Sunday, but nonetheless, a 99-point lead is still a 99-point lead. And of course, if you're a three-time series champion like Alex Palou already is, the bottom line is he's gonna have a good chance to figure this out over the last four races. So I think, like I said before, it and it is going to take something drastic, okay, for Alex Palou to not make it championship number three in a row, and of course, four out of the last 5 years. I basically said that after he won Indianapolis in the 500. Of course, he cleaned up that month in Indianapolis. He won the road course there as well as the Indy 500. And he began this season by winning five of the first six races. So it basically put everybody else in chase mode. But nonetheless, we have seen Pato O'Ward not give up the fight. He had a strong showing in Iowa last weekend that allowed him to jump Kyle Kirkwood in the standings for second place. And now he has blown past Kirkwood, but nonetheless, he still is going to have his work cut out for him if he is truly indeed going to overtake Alex Palou. I said it after Indianapolis, barring something unforeseen, okay, would Alex Palou not win the IndyCar championship once again? You go back to Detroit earlier this year. That was when Alex Palou crashed out. He didn't finish that race, the only DNF that he had for this season. And it's going to take more misfortune like that, if you will, for Alex Palou and Chip Ganassi to not pull this off. And on top of that, Pato O'Ward is going to have to continue to race in the fashion that he's been racing. But aside from the seven wins this season for Alex Palou, he has 10 top five finishes and 11 top 10 finishes on his resume. So, of course, if you're finishing that high, especially in the top five, the points just continue to rack up for you. So basically, at this point, the only way that this is not going to be pulled off for Alex Palou, okay, and there's a small what if, very small what if. The only way it doesn't get pulled off is Pato O'Ward basically has to go out there and podium in each of the last four races, and of course take home the checkered flag a couple of times, and we've got to see a cascade of misfortune, if you will, for Alex Palou in the number 10 car. Talking about finishing 15th or worse, maybe a couple of DNFs. That to me is the best way possible. But I think, and I'm not hoping for it, okay, don't get me wrong, but nonetheless, I think Pato O'Ward is going to try to make this exciting. And I think finally that Pato, when he was able to break through and get that win last weekend in Iowa and disrupt a 1, 2, 3 podium for Team Penske, it's one of those where I think he got his swag back. And I'm saying swag back because it's always been there, but nonetheless, he got that checkered flag. And Pato O'Ward has been knocking on the door, chipping away. He already has 8 top 5s this season of his own. Okay, and now he got through and got that checkered flag. He's been racing hard and well this year for Arrow McLaren. And of course, you want to see your hard work rewarded. Like I said, he's got a shot, not a big one. Okay, but I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. And again, they're in Monterey this Sunday. And I think when it's all said and done, I think Alex Palou is once again going to be locked in. He was truly locked in this past Sunday in Toronto. Like I said, it was just that gamble on pitch strategy. And with that said, you know, going back that far, okay, into the pack, you just get caught up in traffic. It's not as easy to break through. And once Pato O'Ward got to the front, it was smooth sailing for him from there, and he never relented on the lead. But like I said, I truly do think Alex Palou is going to bounce back in a big way this weekend in Monterey. There's 4 races to go. It's just up to Pato O'Ward to see, for the most part, if he can delay the inevitable. But like I said, after Indianapolis, it was going to have to take a calamity of errors for Alex Palou to not pull this thing off. Zach Brown, the head of McLaren, said he believes in miracles. Let's see if Pato can get it done. But at the end of the day, I ain't holding out that much hope. But nonetheless, fine folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it's greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you give me that follow, I'll give you that follow right back. And the same goes for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, you could check us out on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports groups going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.